Hello, join us this week as we talk about Lincolnshire's hottest topics and a new campaign that Loose Links has decided to shine a light on for December. All that on tonight's show. Hello, joining me, Nicholas Jones, and keeping you entertained on this Tuesday evening for 1 hour only. Joining me, Nicholas James, is Sam J. Hitwell, called Jam then. Sam J. Hitwell, Sue Craven.
Hello.
And Rachel Penny.
Hello.
As we talk about this week, an area of Lincoln that is maybe being covered by houses. But are we losing our green spaces within Lincolnshire? We have quite a difficult conversation about that. Also, we shine a light this month as we celebrate loneliness in all its ways. But we reach out to people out there to, if you are feeling lonely and if you are not having those conversations, and also if you need help, we give you that advice. And we finish on Christmas, as Christmas may be a little bit different for us again this year, with Boris talking about cancellations. But putting the pandemic aside, if we were to cancel Christmas our way, what would we take out of our Christmases? All that and a lot more on this week's Loose Links. Good evening, panel.
Hello.
Can I say congratulations, you are the last 3 people to do the last 4 panel of 2021. Congratulations.
I feel lucky.
As you can see, I had to scrape to the bottom of the barrel to find the last 3.
Right, that's me off then.
Charming. How charming.
To do the last show. Sue Craven, it's been a while since we've seen you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you all prepared for Christmas?
So.
Yeah, getting there. Sam, we saw you last week. Sam's had to jump in again this week because there was someone else that dropped out. I swear you're after my position. I swear you just want to be anchor now and just take.
Yeah,
take
that's what I'm doing, honestly.
And everybody needs a Mrs. Penny in their life, don't they? So she's back again for another show. Good evening, Mrs. Penny.
Good evening. Well, I jumped in as well. Everyone's jumped ship.
Hello, everybody's jumped. I think Sue's our only main panellist that's supposed to be here tonight, really. Congratulations, Sue. You've made it, at least. You've made it. So let's talk about our first topic. So in Lincoln, they're on the second phase of a 500 home plan for the land bordering Greetwell Quarry has sparked fears for the future of the site and the nearby nature reserve. A private housing company is currently carrying out a consultation on its plans for 340 new homes as part of its Greetwell Fields development. This got me thinking about nature, but it also got me thinking about the greenery of Lincolnshire. We are praised in Lincolnshire for our countrysides and our green spaces and all of that. But Sue, do you think in Lincolnshire that we are running out of green spaces, and every time there's a green space, houses are being built on it?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a need for these houses, affordable houses, and new houses, people starting out. We need new houses. And I feel that every building company that builds something, they have within their plans, they have a covenant, and in that covenant will be something like they have to keep the green belt, so much of it, they have to do certain things to keep to encourage the wildlife to come back.
But do you think we're just turning into concrete?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, go on, Rachel.
Well, I think that they're not going to ruin the nature reserve, the quarry. They're going to skirt around it. They're going to maintain it, and they're going to be sympathetic to the wildlife. And wildlife do come back, and they're not going to discard it. That there's still going to be places for people to walk, because they raised the fact that through the pandemic that this was a place where people were able to get out, to do their exercise, to walk, to see nature, and it's not going to ruin that. We need houses, and let's face it, Lincolnshire, there's loads of green spaces. Yes, there's green spaces that are on floodplains as well, but I think this area at Greetwell, I probably feel differently if it was my town or my area, but where I live now, there was a farm next door, and I used to ride my horse in the fields behind and in front. Houses wherever you look now, all around. But we need houses, and they're building more and more and more, because more people are coming to the towns, and it's economic growth, and we need to house the people that come to spend the money.
But I'm not going to say where I directly live, but I live quite near it. And actually, for Lincoln itself, for me, it is, I love the quarry, and I've always loved the quarry. Many different reasons. I can't go down all the reasons, but many different reasons. And when I go to the quarry, I often go to the quarry for a walk around. I feel like I'm escaping the city. I feel like I'm going into green area. I'm nowhere near Lincoln. I can walk miles and miles. Why can't we just leave one green space like that for people? Why that quarry has been there for years, and you can walk. You can do a 4 or 5 hour walk around the quarry, and it's absolutely beautiful. We're building homes. Like, I went down the south end of Lincoln the other day. It's just flats and houses everywhere you look now. There's not room. I just think that we need to keep one space where people feel like they can escape and just enjoy nature. And we're all, as soon as the council's seen green land, it's gone. And I'm scared that we're not going to have those places when it comes to 2035.
I have noticed that as well. It's like you know, I've noticed that whenever there's a small space, they're gonna you know, build on it. It's like down Raisin Lane uphill, there's this little car park, and they've built two studio flats on this car park. It's like, how can you live in such a small dwelling? And also, you know, apparently the prices, because of the area, the prices were quite high, you know, and it's just like, it's not just about building these houses, it's also about building affordable housing, not just for, but you know. Go on.
But what makes this place, what made the council choose this area? Was the quarry a part of, was it significant in showing off Lincoln, showing off that particular area? Did it make it more attractive for people to possibly buy homes around that area, around a nature reserve and quarry? Does it make the
I just think
make the housing a little bit more expensive?
I think it's uphill Lincoln. People like to be uphill, don't they? I'm not saying everybody likes to be uphill, but I think they are running out of uphill homes within Lincoln.
But I'm saying around the quarry, does that make it more attractive for people to live in somewhere where there's a beautiful walkway, beautiful
views? I get that.
But so in that case, it could be put somewhere else. But I don't think they're going to be harmful to the area. I don't think it's going to be harmful or detrimental to the wildlife.
I mean, it's all right saying, you know, they want to attract people to come and live in Lincoln. But what about the residents that are already here? Don't we count?
Well, we do, but there's also, we've got I think we're in the top 5, apart from, of course, Oxford and Cambridge, but we're in the top 5 universities now. We're top nearly for our law department, our business department. Foreign students are coming still, even with COVID. the medical is part of the university that's just opened in the last couple of years. It's got cutting edge research and things like that. So loads of people are coming in. So we've got to, and a lot of the students will probably stay and work. So we've got to have these places. And I think with the Quarry, yes, it's a beautiful place to walk. I walk it regularly, but I wonder if it's something to do with the bypass, because if it's only people who live up near there, or not a lot of people come from down, because there's nowhere to park. If you drove all the way up there, there's nowhere to park up there. So you've really got to live near or about within, because as you said, if you're going to walk for 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to have walked 3 or 4 miles to get there beforehand, are you? So no. I think they will retain it. I mean, on the village I live in, they've built 2 new estates, but in those 2 new estates, it was part of their remit that they had to create a pond in one, and now there's newts in there which have never been here before. There's lots of wildlife. They've also built, like, I don't know what they call it, but it's like it's another boggy peats with bulrushes. I've never seen these round in this park before. You know, they are cultivated wildlife. I've seen lots of birds down there. So I think they have to do it. They'll have to do it tastefully.
Yeah. There's a big conservation part side to buildings anyway, so they will be sympathetic to all the conservation needs.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, because we seem to briefly go on to it, ladies. Let's talk about affordable housing. Do you think after this pandemic, apart from being on the council list, and as you know, the council list is growing and growing each year now, it's becoming a massive part, and so many people are in need of it, massively in need of it. But do you think with COVID, because people now are sitting on houses a little bit more and not selling them because we just can't, do you think there's going to be an even more housing crisis when it comes to maybe 2022, Rachel? Do you think that it's just going to go rocketing sky in the air and we're going to be in some other pandemic, but a housing pandemic than a will pandemic?
Well, this is why we have to build more houses, and it has to be affordable houses. Prices are going up, as you say. People are sitting on the houses they don't want to sell, and what's it, 13% they've gone up this year. The thing is, we've got to get people off the streets, the homeless off the streets. I did read something quite a while ago that I'm not too sure whether this is right, but if somebody's homeless and they haven't got a home, so they cannot get a job, they cannot get a bank account. I heard that there is a banking system that's going to allow homeless to be able to have a bank account without a home. I read this. I don't know whether it's in the startings of it or whether it's actually the process is running now, but that would be excellent because it gets people on the ladder to be able to get them off the streets. And there has to be something to be done by this, and the affordable houses, you get people coming in who are bringing money into the city, buying these houses, who can actually rent them out to people who are the homeless. And I definitely think that we do need more homes, and I definitely think there's more space in Lincoln to build on. They have to be careful not to go onto floodplains, but we've done it so far. We know the areas that would flood and what won't flood, and we've been quite careful. We've been quite lucky. When you look at the rest of the country, we've been quite lucky with not flooding. There's been the odd places here and there, but overall we're not too bad, and that's uphill Greetwell.
Yeah.
Well, I think when it comes, I've got to be so careful. I've got to be so careful, ladies. But when it comes to homeless, I think local authority are still getting it wrong. So I worked in local authority a couple of years ago, and I know people that work within local authority a couple of years ago. And before I left, there's this new system that's been put in place called the homeless team. Now, most councils now, the homeless team was under Property Shop. Now, but most councils now have split that team and have been funded for a couple of years to work on the homeless. So they're a separate team now. They're a separate, and before the pandemic, every person that was on the streets of Lincoln, I can only talk about Lincoln, was housed. Every single person. They went out and housed everybody. But my argument is so priority now within anybody can argue with me out there. If you feel like you've got an argument to say against me, please argue back. I'm quite happy for that to happen. But in Property Shop now, so Property Shop are prioritising homeless, getting homeless off the street. They are priority number one now. But you are talking about people that have never ever been educated in paying rent, in paying council tax, on doing budgeting for food, on how to decorate, on how to look after themselves, use a washing machine, cooker, iron clothes, all of that. And what's happening, what I can see that's happening, is that we are getting those people off the street and then they're left. So they're given a flat, there you go, we've done our business, off you go. It's then for them then to find that extra help. So there is extra help out there if you are watching. There's companies called Frameworks, there's Nomads, there's loads and loads of people that will come in and support somebody. But how is that helping? How I think local authorities should be doing more than what they're doing than just putting somebody in a house, because it's like a round circle all the time. The homes, they're in rent arrears, they're kicked out again. They're on the streets, it's the same story all over again. How is this tackling homelessness?
Well, these
when I was
people are vulnerable, aren't they?
Go on, Ray.
They're very vulnerable. Is it me? Sorry. They're very vulnerable, these people, aren't they? If you're saying all these problems are what they're experiencing, they're vulnerable. So why not? There's clever people out there. There's clever people in government, or some of them, and clever people in local government. Why can it not be something like a warden control establishment to get people off the streets, like as a stepping stone onto housing? Because if they need if somebody's been a serial homeless person who's been at time and years on the street, they're not going to know the ways and wherefores of life, are they? So they need to be taught. And so
not going to be no budgeting or anything like that, are they?
No. So, and they won't know the value of anything because they haven't had the need for it, because they've been on the streets. But do you know, homelessness is such an emotive word. I was out today and I went from a shop into my car, which sounds so trivial, but the cold was biting. I would never survive a night on the streets. I wouldn't survive a night. So I cannot possibly imagine what somebody would be going through if they were living a life on the street.
No.
I mean, when I was in town today, and I saw in the doorway of a closed shop, there was like a one-man tent set up, and then in front of Iceland there was another one-man tent set up, and there was a lady. The front of it was open, and there was a lady in there drinking, and you could tell she was wasted, just lay there drinking, shouting things out to people passing by her. And it's like, you don't know whether to help or not, because
I don't blame her for that though, Sam, because the thing is,
I don't.
If that's an escape from the lifestyle that she's in at the moment, and that's her only way of escape from,
it's the same with drugs. The drink and the drugs, it helps them kind of escape. And also, you know, when drinking, it can obviously alcohol keeps you warm as well. So, you know, they're drinking it to keep themselves warm as well with the stronger alcohol.
And ladies, we're very good at talking about local authority doing stuff and changing stuff and all of that. But are we good as people to homeless? Do you walk past in the street? Do you even say hello?
Never.
Do you acknowledge a person that's sat there, or do you just walk on by?
I have actually bought like a hot sausage roll and a cup for homeless people before. If I've got the spare cash, I will do that, and you know, say they've got something warm to hold on to.
I never ever give money.
No, I don't.
No, it goes straight into their booze or whatever they need. But there's certain places in Lincoln where I know they are, and there's the man who sells the Big Issue. He's not homeless now. They've provided him with a flat, but he's lovely, near Stokes, and Stokes look after him.
That's Richie, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's Richie. He used to have the dog Sticks.
That's right.
He's a lovely man. Yeah,
he is a lovely man, and they give him coffee. They keep him provided with all of that. So I always, if I go in there for a coffee, I'll leave something for him to have, a slice of cake or whatever, or a sandwich, and they'll take that out to him sometimes. And then there's another one round the back in the new square, and he goes in. I don't know what the coffee shop's called down there, but so I leave something in there, and that's the way to help them. Or as you say, buy them a tea, buy them a coffee.
Yeah.
Would you stop and say hello though? Would you talk? Would you say hello?
Me? Contact.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you think about it, a person. So put yourself, and this is advice to anybody out there. And I know people are very nervous about homelessness and are very nervous about what if I get attacked and what if this, that, and the other. But you just have to place yourself there for a second. So place yourself there, place yourself sat in exactly that position, looking up, watching hundreds of people just walk past you and don't even acknowledge you like you're anything, like you're bloody poo on their shoe, just walking past. And sometimes they're not always after money. Sometimes they're so grateful just for that. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
To just be acknowledged. And I just think maybe COVID has taught us to be a little bit more kinder to the world and not so judgmental. Do you agree, ladies?
Definitely.
Well, my point of view is, there for the grace of God goes I. It could be any of us. You don't know. You really, really don't know. There's a really fabulous charity in Lincoln called Let Them Eat Cake. And they go out every night to them. They give them hot meals. So if I've got any duvets or anything that I think they might want, they'll appeal. They're on Facebook, and so if you join up, they'll tell you what they need, if they need anything. And
we'll share their link on our Facebook page.
Yes, and they're good. They go out to them, and especially they'll make sure they've got the tents. They try and get them off the streets. Some of them, though, don't want to be off the street.
Yeah.
No, I get.
But they have
something I was thinking about.
They have to be given a choice, though.
Don't want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Sam. What
There's also Utopia Angel. They're on Facebook as well. They've been doing a lot for the homeless.
Have they?
Look into that. So tell us what you guys think. Do you think we are losing our green spaces? How conversations change from green spaces to homelessness? This is the beauty of loose links. Do you think we are losing our green spaces? Do we need to stop building and reserve some of the green spaces? Do you think we need to start making houses affordable for our young people to get on the property ladder? And tell us what you think about homelessness. Should we be doing more? Should we treat them like every other human being that we meet on the streets every day? Have your say you're the fifth pen and wonder out there. There are many ways to get in touch with us. There's our Facebook page and group. There's Instagram. There's TikTok. There's our website, www.looselinks.co.uk. And also there's YouTube. We're on YouTube. I think I've covered them all now. And you can also email us at looselinks@gmail.com. Have your say. Make sure you have your say. This month, Loose Links is doing a campaign that is well needed and has been shuddered for many years. We are shining a light on loneliness this December, because we all have those times in our lives where we feel a bit lonely, and sometimes it's hard to reach out. So I'm just going to ask you some of the everyday questions that come up within loneliness. So Rachel, let me just say what I was going to say, actually. Loose Links this month is looking at loneliness and how it affects people's lives. We all feel lonely at times. It's normal human emotion. We are biologically wired for social contact, and loneliness out signals the need. We need more. So, Rachel, do you think it's hard to say to anyone, close or not close, that I'm feeling a little bit lonely? Or is Rachel still with us? Is she gone?
Frozen.
Oh,
She's frozen.
So let's go to you first, Sue. Let's see if we can get her back in a second. Do you think it's hard, Sue, to say to anybody close or not close that I'm feeling a little bit lonely?
I think it is, and I think it's especially hard for men.
Why men?
I think, pardon?
Why men?
Because they don't discuss things like women do. They tend to think that, I can't.
They kind of hide their emotions.
Yes.
They don't.
Yeah.
They're not as outspoken about their emotions as we are.
Yeah.
As women are.
And I also think,
Rachel, you're on mute.
You can also be lonely in a relationship. People can be lonely in relationships, especially if it's going wrong, and it is sad. It's, again, I think we've got to think and help people that feel lonely. I think it's natural to feel lonely. Everybody at sometimes thinks, I feel a bit lonely. But then there's some people who are terribly lonely. If you think about all these power cuts and things that have been going on, and they've been 7 days without, electricity. Some of the older people have seen nobody and had nothing. They found a man in bed, and he was 94, and he hadn't been able to get up for 3 days because it was so cold. And if they hadn't got there in time, they said he probably wouldn't be here anymore. He must have felt nobody rang or nobody, because he probably didn't have anybody.
There's different stages. I want to really so Loose Links wants to really highlight loneliness, and loneliness has very many different families and homes that it has too. But there's also the loneliness that I've been looking at recently, the loneliness of illness. The loneliness of being poorly. When you're diagnosed with something or when you're seriously poorly, there's a huge area there of feeling really lonely as well.
Can I just say on that, I know exactly how that feels, because when I was first diagnosed with fibro and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and that, my body started giving up and my friends started dropping off. And I lost a lot of friends because, their lives are going 100 miles an hour, and me, I can't keep up with them. They're going, they're off doing their thing, and I can't keep up because I've had to slow right down. So I know that, because when, like I say, I lost a lot of friends because of this illness, and I don't get invited to people's birthdays as much anymore. The only time I get invited is usually a friend who's also has chronic illness. So and they know that if I cancel, it's not because I'm, being horrible. It's because of my health reasons, and they understand that, and they will still invite me again to something else. Whereas my other friends that have dropped off, I've had to turn around and say, no, I can't because I'm not very well. And they're like, oh, okay, then we'll catch up soon. And I don't hear anything back from them ever again. So
I find it a lot different though. I find that I've gained lots of friends. Well, I've kept my friends, and they've all been very, very good to me. But it gets to times like this in the year where Christmas comes around, and the families of the friends get together and they go to their own homes, and they're with each other, and they all congregate, and families are families, friends are friends, and there are probably a couple of friends that would ask me to stay with them or go to them, and I have got a family of my own. But with me having certain circumstances where it's made me on my own here, I feel lonely. I'm not alone because I have friends, but I am lonely because I am on my own, and with a dog and a brother. At times it's quite challenging, but it is lonely, especially this time of year, when everybody goes back to their own houses and their own homes. But it's one day, and my life changed completely last year with, I've said it a few times, with my mum passing away. But last year was the first time I was on my own on Christmas Day, because my mum fell on the Christmas Eve and she stayed up in her bedroom. And so Christmas Day was the first year I've ever been on my own, sat in a kitchen, feeling lonely. And everything can only get better from now on this year. But with the pandemic still around and starting to seem like it's starting to resurrect again onto the next stage that we have to possibly go through, we all have to get onto the real page of life, really, and that is Christmas comes back to basics, and it means family, friends, and knowing what's important in life, and that is life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So have you ever, in your going in detail as much as you want or as much as you little, but have you ever been in a period in your life where you've been surrounded by lots of people but also felt lonely?
Yes, very much so. That's why I said to you, I think they can be in a relationship not particularly happy in that relationship, but they can have lots to the outside world, they can seem full of life and but they can be very lonely. And I made a big leap of faith 10 years ago, ended up on my own in a little flat, and I spent Christmas on my own. And yes, because I have got children, but my daughter was, she was tied up with her father, and my son was away abroad. So I was on my own, and I thought, oh, this is going to be awful, but I did it, I managed it. But I know that if the time ever comes again and I'm on my own again, I'm going to volunteer somewhere. I will find somewhere and I will go and I will volunteer. So that can help, as you say, like Salvation Army or wherever. There's loads of people in Lincoln. People have been asking for volunteers to come and help, serve dinner or do something. I would do that, because I think
Ladies, can I just go a bit personal then, because obviously there will be some people that's watching the show that might well as be on their own on Christmas Day. So because you two have experienced that experience, let's go to both of you. Rachel, if you were to give advice to anybody on facing Christmas Day on their own, what advice would you give?
I've always enjoyed the build up to Christmas, where you can go and meet people, you can go into pubs and clubs and in normal times, and get yourself out there. But when it comes to Christmas Day, it is only one day, and I found it easier than I thought it would ever be, because it went so quickly. And I don't particularly like Christmas Day. You will get through it, but it was an experience that made me appreciate people and Christmas more. I don't think there's any advice. Everybody's so different to how they cope with things. But I survived it, and I don't really know whether I'd give any advice. I just think it is only one day, and you will survive. You will survive.
Sue, do you think?
But I think what Sue was saying, definitely go out there and immerse yourself into Christmas and give somebody else the benefit of your company.
Yeah.
So do you think in the year of 2021 that we've still got a very, very long way to go when it comes to tackling tackling loneliness, sorry?
I think we have, but I think people are more open now. They're more open about loneliness, about mental health. So hopefully there'll be more and more organisations help people. And the thing is, I mean, the way I got through it was I just ate everything I wanted to eat on my own, drank what I wanted to, did everything. And it, as Rachel said, I was really dreading it, but it was okay. But I do know that another year, if need be, I would go, and I would, but I wouldn't be frightened or worried about it, because I know that as Rachel says, and it is true, it's one day.
Yeah.
It's only one day.
Sam, do you think everybody in their lifetime should at least have one Christmas Day on their own?
I think it just depends on the person. I mean, if it's like my mum would never ever spend. Christmas. Her front room is it's like Santa's grotto in her room. So, I think it just depends on the person, really. I mean, like I say, my mum loves celebrating it, so she would never ever do it on. I mean, given that if I was to have Christmas on my own in the future, it wouldn't bother me, to be fair. I mean, like the other two said, it's just a day. It's just another day, and it's like my cousin said the other day, Christmas dinner is just basically Sunday lunch.
Sunday roast.
It's just a Sunday roast that's just been hyped up, basically. So, and I was like, well, yeah, that is true. So I just think it just depends on the person as individually. But myself, if I had to spend Christmas Day on my own, I wouldn't be that bothered, to be fair. I would probably just sleep the whole day through.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'd have a microwave meal in the fridge waiting to go in, and microwave it up, and then sleep the rest of the day away. I wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because the thing is, to me, I don't care about Boxing Day on my own. I don't care about Christmas Eve on my own. But the thought of Christmas Day completely, the whole day on my own, dreads fear into my heart every year. So the start of December, I'm panicking. I'm thinking, I don't want to be on my own on Christmas Day. I don't want to be on my own on Christmas Day. Now I go to church if I can on Christmas morning, if I'm not working. So that's socialising. I'm getting to see people there. And then usually somebody somewhere down the line, November, December, says to me, do you want to come over for Christmas dinner? Yes, please. Now, I don't mind like 3 o'clock onwards on my own. So if we've all had Christmas dinner and it's all been lovely and everybody's going home, I don't mind at that point going, right, I'm going home now, because there's lots of good telly on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
From about 3 o'clock onwards, there's a lot of good telly. So I don't mind that. It's just the initial. And I think it's. Do you agree, Sue, that because we've both been through similar experiences of bad relationships, really, but do you think the first Christmas, the first of everything, really, is the hardest?
It is. It is. And like Rachel said, the first year without a mum would be terrible, so hard. It is hard, but I think once you've done it and you've survived it, yes, it's not particular, but you've done it. And I think you've got to go back and be thankful for all the good things that you have in your life. You know, there's hundreds of people out there who are on their own for Christmas, but they're probably on their own. They probably don't have friends at other times of the year. They don't have, you know, we're lucky in that way because we've got a full life. And I think, as I say, I'm determined that if I ever am, I would go and help somewhere. I'd find somewhere that I could go and help.
Would you spend the whole day there?
Yeah. Well, as long as they wanted them, I'd do whatever it needed. They're early to, I mean, like in the village this last year, because of COVID, they cooked Christmas dinners. And so there was the preparation, the cooking them. So many of them were together, but there were only a few. And then many people did them in the houses. Then they delivered them. So I'd go and deliver the dinners. And then they go back later and they might take, I don't know what they took, mince pies and whatever. And I just think I'd do things like that.
But do you think, I'm going a little bit dark here, but I think it's really important that we go dark as well. So we talk a lot within mental health about the silent killer. Do you think loneliness could be a silent killer?
I do. I certainly do think it could.
What about you, Rach? Yeah. Do you think it could be a silent killer?
You're asking me. Definitely. There's circumstances to being lonely and being alone, and then being on your own on a significant day like Christmas Day, and the circumstances you're on your own and you've only got yourself to talk to and to reason with or not to reason with. Doesn't bear thinking about to somebody with mental health.
Yeah.
And there are too many people out there without family and without people watching over them. And I've got a family that care about me, even though I'm possibly going to be on my own. You, Nicholas James, you're going to have to come and share a turkey.
I'm going to Rachel Penny's on Christmas Day. She's invited me.
I will be miserable together.
I tell you something, there's quite a few drinks that's going to be happening on Christmas Day, so I don't want no drunken photographs on the Loose Links page. Can I just make that clear now? No drunken photographs.
You do realise now you've said that there's going to be a ton of them. It's going to be inundated with drunken photos on Christmas Day.
Listen, we're not going silent about this. We are talking about this all the way through December. It's a topic that must be discussed. We are also sharing websites, companies, and people that are helping tackle loneliness this month. So keep an eye on our Facebook page if you want to volunteer, if you want help. There is help out there. And it's really important, don't you agree, ladies, that we talk about loneliness. So we carry on talking about it all the way through December. But on the topic of Christmas, let's talk Christmas. Sue, you look very festive this year. Your face, your fairy at the top of the tree is the face. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. But so with Christmas around the corner and maybe Christmas plans, already talking about a different Christmas again this year. Sam, as Boris said last year, Christmas was cancelled. Plans are already talking about a different Christmas again this year. But if you could cancel one thing from your normal Christmas, what would that be?
I think for me, it would be the shopping experience. If I could just get everything online and I don't have to go into town amongst all the crowds, I would be happy. But there's sometimes can't get some stuff online and I have to go into town. I have to go to this shop or that shop. I would much rather, especially with this weather as well, I'd much rather do it all online if
But
it's
don't you
possible.
like that festive feeling of like Christmas music in shops and people together, and or is that really
I'm not a big Christmassy person. My daughter, she loves Christmas. She gets that from my mum. But me, you know, I could take it or leave it. So, and I'll also find that when Christmas songs go up in the shops in like October, November time, I'm like, really? Let's just get Halloween out of the way first before we think about Christmas, you know? So I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I don't play, the only time I play music, Christmas music is actually on Christmas Day or the day or Christmas Eve.
Just to let you know, the only reason Sue Craven's on the show tonight is because I returned a face to her for Halloween. So she's got it back again.
How
You're
rude.
so rude, you know.
How rude.
She's got it
He's
back
rude,
again.
very rude. I'd cancel that invitation, Rachel.
He's such a Grinch, do you know? Every time you go you near anywhere where somebody's got some festivities, he goes, too early.
I'm the same. I'm the
He
same.
snarls
I'm the
at
same.
everybody. Oh,
I'm so
I used to have a
Such a
black
misery.
Santa wig, hat, a black Santa hat that said
Black?
bar humbug across the top of it. And I was like, yep, that's me.
What about you, Sue? If you could cancel something from your Christmas, what would you cancel?
Red cabbage.
Red cabbage.
oh, I love red cabbage and bacon.
Oh no! I always have to get red cabbage. It's our turn to host this year. Not all of them, just some of the family. And oh, don't forget the red cabbage. I always end up throwing it out. So I would cancel red cabbage.
What do
Nothing
you
else.
like about red cabbage? What is it?
Oh, I just don't like it.
You don't like it. What about you, Rachel Penny? If there was something you could get rid of over the Christmas period, what would you get rid of?
Two things. First of all, cards.
Yes.
Because I write with me having not very good at writing these days. I can't even read who is that I've written to. So I wouldn't be doing cards this year. I just say Merry Christmas or what have you. And also Swede. I can remember my husband once one year.
Oh, I don't like it.
We did a full Christmas for 23, from sublime to ridiculous, really. Me on my own, and then 23 people to cook for, and we did 23 people at the table.
Ooh.
And my husband said, "Oh my goodness, that Swede's going to take ages." So he did it on Christmas Eve in the garage because he hates everywhere steaming up. We got windows like a goldfish bowl, our house was. And so he did all the Swede. It took about 3.5 hours, 4 hours to cook the Swede, mashed it all up, put it in the hostess trolley, pushed it all out. We dished everything up. We all sat down really stuffed. And there was a Swede in the bottom of the trolley still. We never even touched it. He used about 4 cans of gas to cook it. It don't cook it. It's rock hard. It doesn't matter how long you cook it for. So I won't be doing Swede this year. You can be Swedeless.
Right. Well,
Can I tell you something else that I'd cancel as well? Cranberry sauce.
Oh,
wait.
no.
Waste of time.
Do you know what
And
I
mince
have on every
pies.
gravy
I
meal?
don't like-
Rachel,
I
what
don't
do
like-
I have on every gravy meal?
Well, you say, I've never seen you eat a gravy meal with it on, but you always say, oh, I have to have mint sauce.
Yeah,
I have to have
mint
mint sauce.
I'll even have it on
Mint
Christmas
sauce on
dinner.
everything.
Mint sauce.
Oh, no.
Mint sauce.
Mint
Have you ever
sauce.
tried
Bring
mint
your
gravy
own.
though?
Mint
gravy.
sauce mixed into mushy peas is good.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
well,
I'd agree with
also,
you.
Love
when
it.
if you're having lamb, bit of a tip here, if you're having lamb and everybody likes mint sauce, make your gravy up, pour the mint sauce into the gravy and mix it. Mint
Yeah.
gravy.
Oh, listen to you.
Mint gravy.
I've done that before.
Out of this world.
I
Out
have
of
done
this
that
world.
before.
Gordon Ramsay.
Before we carry on, ladies, I've got a bit of a Christmas challenge for you. So when it comes to Christmas, are we doing it all wrong? So a bit of the Christmas challenge is to say to you, what do you think this is?
Oh,
Any guesses?
I know. It's a Christmas tree.
I was going to say, looks like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, because look, there's the feet at the bottom.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
Lorna Kay, my friend. Hello, Lorna Kay, if you're watching. Every single year, puts a tree out like this and then puts a tree away like that.
That's brilliant.
Are we doing it all wrong?
Yes,
Are we doing
Definitely.
it wrong?
we are.
And she's doing it right.
Definitely.
Because my thing I would take out is decorating the Christmas tree. Oh,
Would you?
well, you just think it's going to be a 20-minute job, don't you? Oh, I'll get the tree out and I'll finally do
No,
it.
it's
I'll get
not.
the tree out.
No, it's
Well,
not.
last night, ladies, I will prepare you. I'm not so much of a Christmas Grinch anymore.
It's
It
lovely.
is up. It is up. 3 hours. 3 hours. Took the trees to get up last night. 3 bloody
Yeah.
hours. I
And
tell you something.
you still
Nearly ended up
haven't
in the
finished
street.
it.
And I've not finished it, no.
You
Because
haven't
one
finished it yet,
satellite's
have you?
broken. So I need to go and get another satellite tomorrow. And then I'll have to take everything off the bloody tree to put the lights on. So
No,
now
I'm not laughing, honest. I'm
I
not
would
laughing.
take that out. Sue, do you think markets should be more on and should be open this year for people to go to? Do you think the festive market, even though COVID is still on, should be on for people to have a choice, like it's been a choice of face masks at the moment? Do you think the festive market should be on?
I think yes. I personally wouldn't go because I can't at the moment because I've got a low immune system. But I do think if you want to go. But I mean, if you saw the crowds that were in Lincoln, there was something on Lincolnite and it showed you going up from the Stonebow right up. People didn't have masks on. They didn't have, and I think they should have, even though they were outside. And I know somebody who works for the NHS, and they had like a stall up at the Christmas market over the weekend to try and get people to go and have their boosters and to make sure they're being vaccinated and things. Oh, and they had some very unpleasant people.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Well, that's scary, isn't it? That's
No,
really
and I
scary.
just think we don't know what's round the corner. I just think, but I think there should be. I mean, I went to Nottingham with my daughter to see We Will Rock You with the boys, and no,
was it good?
School of Rock, and it was brilliant. But there was the market there, and Sarah and the boys wanted to go, so I said, right, you go. And I stood up on the steps and watched. It was beautiful. You could hear the music, you could see people, and then I didn't get involved in the crowd. So I think if people want to, there's got to be something. But
Definitely.
I don't know.
What about you? Are you a festive Christmas market person, Rachel?
Well, I've been in my time. I took my daughter up this year and dropped her off with Alfie. So they go around the market, and then went to pick her up. But I can't get round this year. I wouldn't have been able to get round the market stall, so I didn't want to go. But I'm pleased I didn't. It was freezing. It was wet.
You sounded, Rachel, you sounded
but,
like such a diva then. The way you said that, I just didn't want to go. I know, I didn't go. You sounded like such a diva then.
I didn't, so I didn't go.
What about you, Sam? I can't see you being a festive Christmas market person. Am I right?
No, I don't go to the Christmas market unless I've got relatives visiting and they're like, oh, let's meet at the Christmas market, and I'm going, really? I have to. So, but you know, it's always the same stuff every year. So it kind of gets boring. You know, I'll go around. It's like, oh, that was there last year. That was there. Seen it all. I'm going home. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Christmas market as it is. So when it's on,
There are nice stalls. But when you've got stalls that are selling thermal socks, I think that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
what?
But let's,
Yes, there's no end of
question is,
stores.
and
It's
this-
thermal socks. You can get
This
it
is
from
quite
anywhere.
a controversial question, and it's coming to you, Rachel. Do you think it's
Oh.
right that people choose to turn up to church only at Christmas?
Why not? It's Jesus' birthday. So at least they're acknowledging it's Christmas is for what it is, aren't they? So it's better to go once than never, surely.
But it also
And if it makes
sorry.
carry on.
It also shows that there are some people out there that haven't forgotten the true meaning of Christmas and why we have Christmas. If people are going there to church on Christmas Day, at least they know, at least these are the type of people that still remember the reason why we have Christmas.
What about you, Sue? Did you go?
Lives are very difficult.
What about you, Sue? Do you go to church at Christmas?
We always go to Christingle every year with the boys. Pardon?
I
Do
hate that.
you?
I just find it pointless.
Oh, the children.
Standing
No,
there
it's
with an
not.
orange
And
with
they
a red
understand-
ribbon.
Yeah, but they know what it is. They're told and taught at school what it is.
I shouldn't
And I
say
think
that as a
it's-
Christian, really, should I? But I don't like Christingle.
But the thing is, Nick, Christingle shows children like an intro for the church. When I was little, I went to Christingle, and I took my children to Christingle until the one little girl tried to light the hood of somebody else in front when they were going up the aisle, and then we all had to pounce on her and damp her down. But the thing is, everybody works now. Sunday isn't a holy day like it used to be.
No.
People work 24/7. So if Christmas is the only time they can come to church, then why not?
Yeah.
Ladies, unfortunately, that brings us to the end of this week's Loose Links. And also, I'm a little bit sad.
Dash.
What? I'm a little bit sad because it's our last one of the year of a panel of 4. And what it's been.
Well,
Join
have
us
a
next week
rest.
as we try and get as many panelists on for the very last show of December
That'll
2021.
be fun.
We finish on the 15th. There's a Christmas Eve special, don't forget it. Christmas Eve 9 o'clock, make sure you're there, where we'll be sharing our Christmas Eve with you. And then we return on Tuesday the 10th of January for series 4 of Loose Links. It's been an absolutely incredible show. Will you thank my panel for this evening? The Grinch of Christmas is always here. That's Sam J. Hitwell.
Bah,
The
humbug.
person there that's always offering the red cabbage, that's Sue Craven. And to be honest, she's doing my Sweden. That's Rachel Penny.
Like Frankie Howard.